Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 103, chapter 103, feeds Zelzan Avatar. Izzy. It was late at night, and Izzy pedaled her bicycle down the deserted street, her destination clear in her mind. She was heading towards a particular house, not a mansion or an apartment, but just an ordinary house. This was her first time visiting this client, and she couldn't help but feel a mix of anticipation and unease. What should she do? Since the client wasn't living alone, wouldn't the client's family see her? After all, she actually had to visit the house to make a contract. She had been told before that ordinary humans couldn't reject her, but did that apply to the situation as well? Worry nodded her, but she brushed it aside as she reached the house and prepared to push the doorbell. That's when she noticed it. The entrance door was open. Seriously, who leaves their door open in the middle of the night? Her heartbeat quickened, and a sudden uneasiness washed over her. What was this feeling? She had a really bad premonition, but she was already committed. Stepping forward, she entered the house. She peered inside from the entrance. The hallway was dark, and the only staircase leading to the second floor was shrouded in shadow. No lights were on upstairs. There was only one room at the end of the first floor with a faint light seeping out. Something was definitely wrong. She felt no presence of any humans. Were they all sleeping? Impossible. If they were, she wouldn't be feeling the sense of foreboding. Taking off her shoes at the entrance, she carried them in her hand to avoid making any noise. She moved silently toward the room with the faint light, her senses on high alert. As she approached the door, she hesitated for a moment, listening intently. There was no sound. Code ... Hello, I'm a devil from the Grimory's household. Is the client here? Izzy called out quietly, but there was no reply. It couldn't be helped, so she entered the room. It was a living room, with a television, a sofa, and a table. It looked like an ordinary living room until her eyes were drawn to the wall. She stopped in her tracks, her breath catching in her throat. There, nailed to the wall upside down, was a corpse. A human male. Was he the person who lived here? But why? The corpse had been cut viciously, with something that looked like giblets spilling out from the wounds. Gough, she gagged, but she didn't vomit it. Her body reacted instinctively to this gruesome sight. She couldn't endure looking at the corpse any longer. It was attached to the wall with screws, forming the shape of an upside-down cross. Thick screws were driven into the palms of its hands, its feet, and the middle of its torso. This wasn't normal. Not normal at all. You couldn't kill a person like this with the same mind. A puddle of blood had formed on the floor from the drips falling from the corpse. And there was writing on the wall. What is this? She whispered, her voice trembling. It's written as, punishment for those who did bad deeds. I just borrowed the sentence from someone important. Suddenly, the voice of Ian Male came from behind her. When Izzy turned around, she saw a man with white hair. He seemed to be a foreigner and looked like he was still a teenager. He was dressed like a priest, and he was also a Bishonen. Seeing her, the priest made an evil smile. Well, if it isn't a devil-coon. He seemed to be really happy. Then, the thing that Butcher had told her came back to Izzy's mind. Don't get involved with people from the church, especially the exorcists. They are our biggest enemy. They can easily eliminate us because their powers are supported by the prayer of God. He's a priest, so he's related to the church. This is bad. He even knows that I'm a devil, so am I in the worst situation there is again. I'm a priest, a boy priest, I cut down devil-like people, and I laugh at them, I cut the head of your devils, and receive my meal and GT. The priest started to sing. Izzy didn't get it. What is wrong with this guy? My name is Fried Zelzan. I belong to a certain exorcism organization. Just because I introduced myself doesn't mean you have to. I don't want to remember your name in my memory, so please don't. It's okay, since you're going to die soon. I will make sure of it. It might hurt at first, but later you will feel so good that you will cry. Now let's open the new doorway. Izzy had never met someone like him before. His words didn't make any sense. So this guy is an exorcist. She was in trouble now. But there was something she wanted to say to him. She swallowed down her speed and asked him. Hey, was it you, the one who killed this person? Yes, I killed him, because he was a regular criminal who has been summoning devils, so I had to kill him. What kind of an excuse is that? Izzy felt a mix of fear and anger bubbling inside her. She knew she had to think quickly to get out of the situation alive. Tilda. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 70 ad bonus chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 104, chapter 104, crazy guy Avatar. Are you shocked? Aren't you running away? That's weird. Really weird. I mean, humans who make a pact with devils are scum. Scum indeed. Can't you understand that? No, is that so? Well, you are a scum devil after all. This guy is crazy. Izzy couldn't even have a normal conversation with him. But she had to say what she had to. How can a human kill another human, then? Aren't you only supposed to kill devils? What the fuck is that? A mere devil like you lecturing me. I will laugh at this. You probably could get a reward for being funny. Okay then, listen carefully, you shitty devil. Devils also use humans' greed to survive. Relying on a devil proves that you are no longer human. It's the end. That's why I killed him. I make a living by killing devils and those that are contracted to a devil. That's my job. Even devils won't go this far. Tilda. What are you talking about? Devils are trash. Do you know they are a shitty existence? Do you know this is common sense? Didn't you know? Seriously, you should start your life back from a toddler. Wait, it's useless to tell this to a reincarnated devil like you. More like, I have to kill you. It's awesome, isn't it? It's the best, isn't it? The priest pulled out a sword that had no blade and a gun. Boom. A sound vibrated in the air. The sword that only had a handle turned into a thing like a beam saber. What is that? It looks like a beam saber from Gundam. You kind of irritate me, so can I cut you? Can I shoot you? Is it okay? Okay then. Now I'm going to stab your heart with this blade of light, and I'm going to blow your head with this cool looking gun. Man, I'm seriously going to fall in love. Swift. The priest came sprinting towards Izzy. He slashes his blade of light at Izzy. Oh crap. She just dodged it, but intense pain ran through her leg. There was smoke coming out of the priest's gun. Was she shot? But she didn't hear any gunshots. Then suddenly, she felt another shot of pain in her leg. Gwa. Izzy fell to her knees, moaning. This time, she was shot in her left calf. It hurt, but she knew this pain. How is it? The special bullet made for exorcists, the bullet of light. And it doesn't make any sound. Since it's a bullet of light, this situation turns both of us on, doesn't it? The pain of light. Yeah, this was the pain of light. To a devil, light is poisonous. Once hit, the pain goes through your entire body. Die, devil. Die, devil. Turn to dust and disappear. This is all for my entertainment. The priest laughed madly, ready to finish her off. Please stop. Then there was a voice of a woman Izzy was familiar with. The priest froze in his attack posture and looked toward the direction where the voice came from. Izzy also looked in the same direction. A girl stood there, and Izzy knew her, or to be more precise, she has seen her with Alex. Asia. Yes, the blonde sister was standing there. Well, if it isn't my assistant, Asia-chan, what happened? Did you finish putting up the barrier? MU0000000. Asia screams after seeing the corpse that is nailed to the wall. Thank you for the adorable scream. Oh yeah, this is your first time seeing a corpse like this, isn't it, Asia-chan? Then look carefully. This is how humans and transpired devil die. Asia's face went pale as she stared at the gruesome scene. And no, she stammered, her eyes wide with horror. Then she turned her gaze toward Izzy, recognition dawning on her face. Father Freed, that person. Asia's voice trembled as she spoke, her eyes locking onto Izzy. Freed laughed maniacally, waving his blade of light around. Person, no, this shit here is a devil. Ha ha ha, what are you misunderstanding? Asia's shock deepened, her expression one of confusion and disbelief. Izzy-san is a devil. She seemed at a loss for words, unable to process the revelation. Does that mean Asia wasn't Alex's girlfriend and Asia seems to have no idea of this murder for her reaction? Izzy thought after seeing Asia's expression. What, you guys know each other? Wow, now this is a big surprise. Is it the forbidden lesbian love between a devil and a sister? Seriously, are you serious? Freed, the priest, looks at both Asia and Izzy. Asia, get out of here, Izzy shouted, trying to warn her, but Freed moved quickly, his manic energy making him unpredictable. Even if Izzy only meets Asia one time, Izzy can't turn blind eyes she can be someone Alex has crush on. Where do you think you are going, Asia-chan? Freed taunted, his eyes gleaming with a dangerous light. You're not going anywhere. You are going to stay right here and watch as I carve this devil to pieces. Izzy struggled to her feet, the pain from her wounds coursing through her body. She had to think of something fast. The light bullets were taking a toll on her, but she couldn't give up. The devils and humans can never coexist. Especially humans from the church and the devils are the biggest enemies. Also, we are a group of heretics that was deserted by God. Asia-tan and I are humans that can't survive without the support of fallen angel Sama. Fallen angel. What does he mean? Don't priests and nuns work under God? Izzy thought. Tilde. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 70 Adventist chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 105, chapter 105, Stray Exorcist of Avatar. Freed laughed maniacally as he brandished his blade. Well now, leaving that aside, I need to kill this trash here or else I can't finish my job, so here I come. Are you ready? He thrust his sword toward Izzy once more. If that blade struck her chest, she knew she'd be killed instantly, or worse, end up like the client nailed to the wall, her body slashed to pieces. Fear gripped Izzy's body. This was bad. This situation was really bad. She could barely move, paralyzed by the terror of what might come. But then, something unexpected happened. The blonde sister, Asia, stepped between the priest and Izzy, arms spread wide as if to protect her. Freed's expression turned stern. Hey, are you serious? Asia-tan, do you know what you're doing? I do. Father Freed, I beg you. Please forgive this person. Please let her go. Izzy was speechless. Asia was protecting her. I can't stand it anymore. You can't kill people just because they are an transpired devil, and you also can't kill devils. It's wrong. Don't talk shit, bitch. You also learned that devils are trash at the church. Seriously, is there something wrong with your brain? Freed's face contorted with anger. There are good people, even among devils. There aren't, idiot. That's what I thought until recently. But she is Alex-san's friend and Izzy-san is a good person. That fact doesn't change even after I found out that she is a devil. Killing someone is unforgivable. This kind of act, God won't allow such acts. Asia's words hung in the air, and for a moment, the madness in Freed's eyes flickered. But it was only a moment. His face twisted in fury. Asia-tan, you were too naive. There are no good devils. Just look at this trash. Freed took a step forward, ready to strike again, but Asia stood her ground. Move aside, Asia. You are getting in the way of God's work. No, Asia said firmly. I won't move. I won't let you harm Izzy-san. Asia saw the corpse and discovered that Izzy was a devil, yet she didn't waver in expressing her beliefs to the priest. What a strong-willed girl, Izzy thought. This girl is amazing. Baki. Kya? Freed struck Asia aside with his gun. Asia fell to the ground. Hey, Asia. Izzy rushed to Asia's side. There was a bruise mark on Asia's face. That bastard actually hit her. The fallen angel girl told me very strongly that I can't kill you. But I'm getting a bit pissed. Since I can't kill you, can I rape you or something? If I don't, I won't be able to heal my heart. But before that, I need to kill the trash over there. Freed pointed his blade of light at Izzy again. Izzy couldn't run away and leave Asia behind. She couldn't abandon a girl who had just defended her to this lunatic. If she was going to escape, it had to be with Asia. So she had to fight. Could she fight using her sacred gear? Even though she didn't fully understand its effect, she was also the weakest piece. Her chances of winning were slim, but she had to try. I can't leave a girl who just defended me, so come on. Izzy made a fighting posture in front of the priest. Freed whistled, seemingly delighted. Oh, what a sight. A devil trying to be a hero or heroine. Haha, this is too good. Izzy's heart pounded, fear and determination swelling within her. She couldn't let Freed harm Asia or herself. She had to muster every ounce of strength she had. Freed lunged at Izzy, his blade of light aimed at her chest. Izzy sidestepped, barely avoiding the attack. She retaliated with a punch, but Freed blocked it easily, laughing. Nice try, Devil-chan, but you'll have to do better than that. The priest jumped up high, then the floor glowed in blue and white colors. What is this? He muttered. Suspicious as the floor glowed. The blue light started to form a shape. It was a magic circle. Izzy recognized it immediately. The magic circle of the Grimmery household. Izzy's heart leapt with hope. Flash. The magic circle on the floor shone brightly. Then, familiar faces appeared from it, her comrades, the devils she knew well. Hayaru-san, we came to rescue you, Kiba said, smiling at her. Ara, this is awful, Akeno remarked, her voice tinged with concern. Priest, Konku-chan added, her expression serious. Yes, her comrades had arrived. Izzy felt a surge of relief and gratitude wash over her. She was so moved she felt like crying. Great, something like this actually happens. Haha, here's a present for a group of devils. The priest yelled, slashing his sword wildly. Kajun. The sound of metal echoed through the room as Kiba blocked the priest's attack with his own sword. I'm sorry, she's one of us. We can't let you lay a finger on her, Kiba declared firmly. Oh, a mere devil being concerned about their comrade. What are you guys? Devil Squadron, the Devil Rangers. That's nice. I can feel the heat. I'm getting turned on. So how is it? Are you the one sticking it in, and is she the one bending? Are you guys in that sort of relationship? The priest taunted, his expression twisted with perverse glee. He was getting cocky, sticking his tongue out and shaking his head mockingly as he clashed swords with Kiba. That guy is completely looking down on us, Izzy thought, anger boiling within her. Even Kiba had an anguished expression. Yeah, that guy was definitely disgusting. What a vulgar mouth. It's hard to believe you are a priest. Oh, that's why you are a stray exorcist, right? Kiba said, his voice steady despite the insult. Tilde. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 70 Advanced chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 106, chapter 106, Stray Exorcist 1 Avatar. Quote. What a vulgar mouth. It's hard to believe you are a priest. Oh, that's why you are Stray Exorcist, right? Keeper said, his voice calm but edged with disdain. Yeah, I'm vulgar. Sorry about that. That's because I strayed away. I was kicked out. That's why. Screw the Vatican. I'm alright as long as I get to cut devils whenever I feel like it. Freed laughed, his tone maniacal. Both of them continued to exchange blows, the clash of their swords ringing through the room. Keeper maintained his calm expression, but his eyes had already locked onto his foe with a deadly focus. Freed, still laughing and enjoying the fight, seemed unfazed. You are the type that's the hardest to deal with. Someone who feels like they are living by cutting devils, the one who causes the most harm to us. Ha, I don't want to be told off by a devil. I'm trying to live now just like other people. I'm not in a position where pests like you can talk down to me. Freed retorted, his voice filled with mockery. Even devils have rules, Akeno-san said, smiling, but her eyes were serious and full of determination. She was clearly ready to fight and hostile towards Freed. Niece, I like those passionate eyes. Oni-san, you are the best. I can feel your urge of wanting to kill me. Is this love? No, I think it's a killing intent. Superb. This is great. I love the feeling of intending to kill and getting intended to kill. Freed exclaimed, his excitement almost palpable. Then disappear. The person who appeared beside Izzy was the crimson-haired girl, Riez Bucho. Izzy, I'm sorry. I never expected that a stray exorcist would visit this client's house. Riez, who was apologizing to Izzy, narrowed her eyes after seeing her wounds. Quote. Izzy, did you get wounded? Ah, sorry, I was shot. Izzy tried to downplay it by laughing. Ah, looks like she will yell at me afterward. Sorry for being weak, Bucho, Izzy thought. But Riez didn't say anything to Izzy. Instead, she gave a cold expression to the priest. Looks like you have been looking after my cute servant. Her voice was low and sounded terrifying. Wow, Bucho was pissed. Izzy wondered. Yes, I have been playing around with her. I was planning to cut her body all over, but I was interrupted, and it finished as a dream. Born. A section of the furniture behind the priest was blown away. It was Riez. She had shot out a ball of demonic power. I make sure I never forgive those who harm my servants. I especially can't forgive a lowlife like you for damaging my personal possessions. Her intensity caused the atmosphere to feel frozen. Her killing intent lurked around the room. Waves of demonic power surrounded Riez. Bucho, there seem to be a few fallen angels heading to this house. At this rate, we will be at a disadvantage, Akeno-san informed them, her voice tense. The fallen angels are approaching. Those guys with black wings. Izzy thought. Mitelt was also a fallen angel, wasn't she? Riez Bucho gave another stare at the priest. Quote. Akeno, we will return to our headquarters once we retrieve Izzy. Prepare for teleportation. Yes. Akeno-san started to cast a spell as soon as Riez urged her to. Teleport. Are we running away? Izzy wondered. She then looked at Asia. Bucho, we have to take her as well. Izzy said to Riez. It's impossible. Only devils can use the magic circle to transport. Also, this magic circle can only teleport me and my servants. She turned to Freed, her eyes blazing with fury. Consider yourself lucky that we have more pressing matters. But know this, you will pay for harming my servant. Freed sneered, but he didn't make a move. He was clearly aware of the power Riez possessed and knew it would be unwise to provoke her further. Izzy, can you stand? Kiba asked gently, offering a hand to her. Izzy nodded, though her legs were shaky. Yeah, I can. With Kiba's help, she got to her feet. Asia, who had been watching the entire exchange with wide eyes, stepped forward. I'm so sorry, Izzy-san, she said, her voice trembling. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Izzy-san, let's meet again. That was the last words we exchanged at this place. Next moment, Akeno-san finishes casting the spell, and the magic circle on the floor starts to glow blue again. Like I will let you escape. The priest came slashing at us, but Kunpo-chan threw the sofa against him. By the time the priest smacks away the sofa with his sword, they were already teleported to the club room. I have to tell Alex about this, Izzy thought before she lost her consciousness. Tilda. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 70 Advanced chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 107, Morning Avatar. I woke up the next morning, feeling a mix of satisfaction and mild discomfort. The first thing that caught my attention was my arms. My once robust and muscular limbs now looked disturbingly skinny and fragile, as if they might snap under their own weight. I glanced over at the person responsible for this transformation, still sleeping soundly next to me. Sheltia, with her ethereal beauty, lay peacefully, a small smile playing on her lips. Her silver hair cascaded around her, creating a stark contrast against the dark sheets. Stop it, Alex Sama tilde, not my noodles tilde, she murmured in her sleep, her voice a soft whisper that made me chuckle despite myself. I couldn't help but replay the events of last night in my head. It had been intense, to say the least. Sheltia's voracious appetite for pleasure had left me drained, quite literally. As a vampire, she had her unique ways of showing affection, and last night she had taken a bit more than just my stamina. Perencino, you absolute madman, I muttered under my breath. What kind of twisted mind programs a character like this? I flexed my arms slightly, wincing at the sensation. I looked like I've been through a medieval torture chamber. If anyone saw me right now, they'd think I was auditioning for the role of Stigman in a children's play. Sheltia stared, mumbling something incoherent before settling back into her dreams. I couldn't help but shake my head. Great, now she's dreaming about me torturing her, as if last night wasn't enough. I slowly sat up, trying not to disturb her, and examined the rest of my body. The results were equally concerning. As I gingerly got out of bed, I caught sight of myself in the mirror. My reflection made me do a double take. Wow, Alex, you look like you've survived a week-long marathon without any food or water. Sheltia's voice brought me back from my self-deprecating thoughts. Alex Sama, so strong, she sighed, clearly enjoying whatever dream she was having. Yeah, sure, I muttered sarcastically. Making my way to the bathroom, I couldn't help but think about the repercussions of last night. Just then, Death's voice echoed in my mind, laced with amusement. You look like a dried pickle, my dear, Death said with a chuckle. Thanks for the vote of confidence, I replied dryly, glancing at my reflection in the mirror. Indeed, I looked like I had been through a dehydration chamber. My cheeks were hollow, my eyes slightly sunken, and my once proud muscles seemed to have taken a vacation. Death continued, still chuckling, I did warn you about Sheltia's enthusiasm. Yeah, I grumbled, splashing water on my face. But I thought I could handle it. Who knew she'd have the stamina of a marathon runner and the appetite of a starved lion? To my relief, I noticed my vampire natural regeneration kicking in. Slowly but surely, my skin began to regain its color, my muscles started to fill out, and the hollowness in my cheeks faded. Of course I could just active my regeneration skill, but that would be overkill and my natural regeneration is doing a fine job. I flexed my arms slightly, watching as they gradually return to their normal state. Well, that's a bit better. You're lucky you're a vampire, Death remarked. Any other human would be a pile of bones by now. Yeah, perks of the undead life, I said, feeling my strength returning. But still, I think I'll need to pace myself next time. Maybe set some ground rules with Shaltia. Good luck with that, Death quipped. She seems quite taken with you. I sighed, thinking of Shaltia's fervent enthusiasm. Yeah, I noticed. But seriously, I've got to find a balance. I can't keep looking like a raisin after every encounter. With my regeneration in full swing, I felt more like myself. My reflection now showed a more familiar, robust version of me. Much better, I said to myself, feeling my confidence return. As I exited the bathroom, I saw Shaltia beginning to stir. She stretched lazily, her eyes fluttering open. Good morning, Alex-sama, she purred, a satisfied smile spreading across her face. Did you sleep well? Let's just say it was a memorable night, I replied, trying to keep a straight face. But we might need to discuss boundaries for next time. Shaltia giggled, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Whatever you say, Alex-sama. I couldn't help but chuckle at her unabashed boldness. Alright, breakfast time. I need to refuel. Care to join me? I'd love to, she said, slipping out of bed gracefully. As we headed to the kitchen, I felt a renewed sense of vigor. My recovery was almost complete, and despite the madness of last night, I felt ready to face whatever came next. Watch out, world, I thought, smirking. The great Alex is back in action. But before I could make myself comfortable with breakfast, Death dropped a bomb. Dear, I forgot to mention earlier, Izzy was attacked yesterday by Freed. And there goes my appetite. Tilde. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 90 ad bonus chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 108, chapter 108, Healing Izzy Avatar. Occult Research Club. Later that morning, I found myself in the Occult Research Club. As soon as I arrived at school, Reyes had sent one of her peerage members to summon me to their base. So here I was, standing in the club room, trying to process the news. The room was filled with the usual suspects, Reyes, Akeno, Kiber, and Konpo. And there, sitting in a corner with a bandage on her arm and a scowl on her face, was Izzy. Reyes and the rest of the peerage looked serious, clearly unaware that I already knew about the attack. They assumed I was in the dark, and they were here to enlighten me. I played along, maintaining a look of curiosity. Alex, thank you for coming on such short notice, Reyes began. I nodded at her, then turned to Izzy, who was trying to mask her discomfort. What happened to you? I asked, feigning concern. Izzy glanced up, her expression a mix of frustration and embarrassment. I ran into someone called Freed yesterday, she said, her voice tight. He was holding Asia captive, and I stepped in to protect her. Got a little banged up in the process. She did more than that, Kiba added, admiration in his voice. Izzy fought bravely to keep Asia safe until we arrived. I nodded, keeping my face neutral. Sounds like a close call. I'm glad you made it out relatively okay. Izzy, since you're a devil, shouldn't you be healed by now? I asked, puzzled by her lingering injuries. Reyes stepped in, her tone serious. Healing has been slow because the wound was made by a holy weapon. It's more difficult for devils to heal from such injuries. I frowned, realizing the severity of the situation. So, it's going to take some time for her to fully recover. Reyes nodded. Yes, unfortunately, but we'll make sure she gets the proper care she needs. Is that so? I mused, considering the implications of Izzy's slow recovery. As Reyes spoke, a thought occurred to me. If Izzy's healing was slowed due to the nature of the wound, perhaps there was something I could do to help speed up her recovery. With a quick glance around the room to ensure no one was watching too closely, I reached into my inventory and retrieved a small vial containing a vibrant red liquid. The liquid inside shimmered like freshly spilled blood, its potency evident even to the naked eye. Reyes' gaze flickered to the potion in my hand, her expression curious yet cautious. What's that, Alex? I held up the vial, the crimson liquid swelling within. It's a healing potion, I explained, my voice confident. I obtained it from a trusted source. It should help Izzy recover faster from her injuries. Reyes studied the potion intently, her brow furrowed in thought. I've never seen one like that before. Are you sure it's safe? I nodded reassuringly. Absolutely. I've used similar potions in the past, and they've always been effective. Besides, Izzy could use all the help she can get right now. Izzy, who had been listening quietly, looked up at me with a mixture of surprise and gratitude. You'd do that for me, Alex. I smiled warmly at her. Of course, Izzy, you risked your life to protect Asia. The least I can do is help you recover. I can see a light blush on her face. Did I score her affection? Just then I heard her notifications. Congratulations. Izzy Hayaru affection has been changed from friend to Lao. 500 karma point acquired. You made protagonist of the story fall in love with you. 500 karma point acquired. Izzy Hayaru, future Red Dragon Empress. Lao, 70%. Description, she's a pervert looking for a boyfriend who's also keen on building a harem for himself. Currently in love with you. Remake, she going to be great asset for your harem plan. Closing the system interface, I looked at Reyes. Then I approached Izzy and offered her the vial. Here, drink this, it should ease your pain and speed up your healing. Izzy accepted the potion gratefully, taking a cautious sip. Almost immediately, a warm sensation spread through her body, and the color began to return to her cheeks. It's working, she whispered, her eyes widening in amazement. Reyes watched with fascination as Izzy's wounds began to heal at an accelerated rate. Remarkable, she murmured, clearly impressed by the potion's effectiveness. It's more effective than Phoenix Tear, Reyes remarked, her voice filled with awe. As Reyes marveled at the potion's effectiveness, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. It was always satisfying to impress the Devil Princess herself, especially with something as useful as a healing potion. But her question about obtaining more of it brought me back to reality. Where did you find this potion, Alex? And can we obtain more of it? Reyes inquired, her curiosity evident. Ah, the $1,000,000 question. Or in this case, the priceless potion question. Reyes may be the Devil Princess, but even she couldn't expect me to give away my secrets for free. After all, a businessman's got to make a living, even if he's an outsider in the world of devils. The potion I used was just an ordinary health potion, but striking a deal with Reyes would not only give me leverage, it would also earn me favor with Sir X Lucifer, Reyes' older brother. And knowing Reyes, she would likely share the information about the potion with Sir X. As I considered the potential benefits of negotiating with Reyes, a smile tugged at the corners of my lips. Business was business, and if there was one thing I knew how to do, it was making a deal. With the prospect of gaining favor with Sir X and expanding my influence in the devil world, I was more than willing to play the game. Tilde. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 90 ad bonus chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 109, chapter 109, making a deal Avatar. I turned to Reyes, a confident smirk on my face. The potion, I said, holding the empty vial up to the light. It's not something I can just hand out willy-nilly. These things are rare and, well, not exactly cheap to procure. Reyes' eyes narrowed slightly, but there was a spark of interest there. Are you saying you want something in return? Bingo, precisely, I replied smoothly. I'm sure we can come to some sort of arrangement. After all, having a steady supply of these potions would be beneficial to both of us, wouldn't it? Reyes crossed her arms, her gaze calculating. And what, exactly, do you want in return, Alex? I leaned back, pretending to ponder. Well, as an outsider, my resources in this world are limited. Access to certain luxuries and conveniences would be invaluable. And, of course, securing a favor from the esteemed Sir X Lucifer wouldn't hurt either. Reyes raised an eyebrow. You think highly of yourself, don't you? I chuckled. Confidence is key in negotiations, Reyes. Besides, we both know the value of what I'm offering. A potion that heals faster than a phoenix there is no small thing. She sighed, clearly weighing her options. Alright, let's say I'm interested. What kind of luxuries and conveniences are you talking about? I grinned. Simple things, really. Access to some rare materials, perhaps a few magical artifacts that aren't easily obtainable for someone like me. And as for the favor from Sir X, well, let's just say having his goodwill could open many doors. With this, I get a supply of artifacts for Demi-Edge to study for. Reyes nodded slowly, considering my words. I see. And how many of these potions can you provide? I shrugged. That depends on how quickly my supplier can produce them. But I can assure you, the supply can be steady, given the right incentives. She gave me a long, measuring look. Fine. We have a deal, Alex. I'll make sure you get what you need, and in return, you'll provide us with these potions. Excellent, I said, extending my hand. I look forward to our partnership, Reyes. As we shook hands, I couldn't help but feel a sense of triumph. Not only had I secured a valuable ally in Reyes, but the potential benefits from Sir X were immense. This deal was going to be more profitable than I had initially imagined. One last thing, Reyes said, her tone casual. How did you come by such a potent potion? You never did explain. I smiled cryptically. Trade secret, I'm afraid. Let's just say I have my ways. Reyes rolled her eyes but didn't press further. She knew better than to pry into the secrets of an outsider. Now back at our topic, Alex, the reason I called you here is to ask about this Asia. Who was she, and why was she with this stray exorcist? Izzy told me that Asia is a friend of yours. I paused for a moment, pretending to gather my thoughts. Asia is a nun I met yesterday. She was lost and trying to find her way to the church. I didn't know she had any connection to feel that she would be in danger. Reyes studied my face carefully. Izzy mentioned that Asia seemed very grateful to you. I shrugged slightly. I just helped her out. She's new in town and seemed pretty naive about the dangers around here. When I found her, she was just wandering the streets looking for the church. I didn't think much of it at the time. Izzy nodded, supporting my story. It makes sense. Asia didn't seem like she knew much about the supernatural world. She was just trying to do her duty as a nun. Akeno, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke up. We need to figure out why Fried targeted her. There has to be a reason beyond her just being a nun. Kongo added, she might have something he wants. Information, maybe. Or something more, Kiba mused. Fried doesn't do anything without a twisted purpose. Reyes nodded in agreement. We need to get to the bottom of this. Alex, since you're friend with her, can you bring Asia here so we can ensure her safety and maybe get some answers? I nodded. I looked for a way. Reyes gave me a grateful look. Thank you, Alex. Fried had made a grave mistake and his last mistake, and it was only a matter of time before he faced the consequences. With the meeting adjourned, I stood up with the rest of the peerage, ready to take action. Let's get to work, I said. We won't let Fried cause any more harm. As I left the clubroom, I couldn't shake the feeling that things were about to get even more complicated. Maybe I should call Rainray as she is friend with people I am going to deal with. Tilda. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 90 ad bonus chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 110. Chapter 110, investigation close. Avatar. Just after I left the meeting with Reyes in a cult research club, a voice called out from behind me. Alex, wait a moment. It was Izzy. I turned to see her hurrying down the hallway, her expression a mix of determination and something else I couldn't quite place. What's up, Izzy? I asked, raising an eyebrow. She caught up to me, slightly out of breath. I just wanted to thank you again for the potion. It really helped. I waved off her gratitude. No need to thank me. You did the hard part by protecting Asia. The potion was just a little something to help with the aftermath. Izzy looked determined, her eyes fierce with resolve. You were going to bring Asia back, right? Obviously. How could I lose someone like Asia to some side character? Yes, I said, meeting her gaze. I will bring her back. Izzy's expression softened for a moment, but then she steeled herself. Then bring me too. She protected me from the Fried guy. Now it's my turn to help her. I looked at her for a moment, impressed by her resolve. Despite her recent injuries and the danger she faced, Izzy was ready to dive back into the fray for a friend. Admirable, if a bit reckless. You do that. Reyes is going to whoop your ass if she hears about this. I want, raising an eyebrow. In fact, Reyes did punish Issei in the original story for reckless behavior. Izzy winced but didn't back down. I don't care. Asia needs our help, and I'm not going to sit around while she's in danger. I sighed, rubbing the back of my neck. Fine, but if Reyes finds out and comes after you, don't say I didn't warn you. And make sure you are actually ready for this. Izzy nodded firmly. I understand. Thank you, Alex. After our talk, I teleported back to Nazareth, the grand fortress that served as my base. The transition was seamless, and I found myself standing in the ornate throne room. I quickly sent a mental message to Yuri, instructing her to pick up Rainray and bring her to the throne room. While I waited, I took a moment to admire the intricate details of the throne room. The place always had a way of making me feel powerful, with its high ceilings, grandiose pillars, and a sense of authority that permeated the air. Not long after, the doors opened, and Yuri entered, leading Rainray by the arm. Rainay's expression was a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. She had been a fallen angel, a former enemy, but now she was an asset to Nazareth under my command. Alex-sama, Yuri greeted me with a bow. I have brought Rainray as you requested. Thank you, Yuri, I said, nodding at her. I turned to Rainray, who stood nervously, her wings slightly twitching. Rainray, it seems your friends are causing trouble for both me and the devils. Rainay's eyes widened, and she quickly straightened up, her demeanor shifting dramatically. I deeply apologize, Alex-sama. How may this humble servant assist you? Her sudden politeness was almost comical, like watching a cat suddenly start acting like a dog. Well, this is new. Did she hit her head or something? I thought. Maybe she had a change of heart. Or maybe she thought if she acted like the perfect minion, I'd go easy on her. Maybe Demi-Edge didn't. Either way, it was kind of amusing. I need your insight on Fried and other fallen angel. I began, watching her closely. They causing trouble and holding someone important to me. Now what I need to tell me is that if they possess any advanced barrier spell. Of course, esteemed Alex-sama, ruler of Nazareth, beacon of power and wisdom, Rainray gushed, almost tripping over her words in her eagerness to please. She was laying it on thick, and I could practically see the sweat forming on her brow. Okay, now this is just getting ridiculous. Did she swallow a thesaurus of flattery or something? Rainray, just focus on the information, I said, suppressing a chuckle. Do they have advanced barrier spells or not? Rainray composed herself quickly. Yes, Alexama, they do have some advanced barrier spells, primarily to protect themselves during their nefarious activities. Fried, in particular, is fond of using them to set traps and ensure he has a safe retreat. Why do you ask about barrier spells? Yuri inquired, her brow furrowed with curiosity. I put a shadow demon on Izzy, I explained, to keep an eye on her and ensure her safety. But when she was fighting with Fried, I lost contact with it. I suspect he used one of those barriers to block the connection. Yuri nodded, understanding dawning on her face. Thank you, my lord, for your kind reply. And Rainray, ready to meet your friends. Tilde. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 90 adverse chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 111, epitome of scum avatar. The sky was already dark, and the street lamps had flickered to life, casting long shadows on the deserted streets. Izzy and I were crouched behind a row of bushes, examining the church from a distance where we had a clear view of the entrance. There was no movement, no one entering or exiting the church. It appeared abandoned, but I knew better. The closer we got to the church, the more I could sense the presence of 4 individuals inside. From what Rainray had told me, they must be her companions, and one of them was undoubtedly Fried. The reason Rainray wasn't with us was simple. She was hiding. I didn't want the devils to find out that I had a fallen angel subordinate, at least not yet. The timing wasn't right, and her presence could complicate things unnecessarily. I turned to Izzy, who was watching the church intently. Izzy, I whispered, breaking her concentration. What do you know about your sacred gear? Izzy looked at me, her expression serious. Not much, she admitted. Riaz and the others have explained some things, but I'm still learning. I know it's called the twice critical, and it can double my power. I couldn't help but chuckle softly, shaking my head. Oh, Izzy, dear, that's where you're wrong. The sacred gear you possess is called the boosted gear, not twice critical. It's far more powerful than you realize. Her eyes widened in surprise. Boosted gear, but I thought. I interrupted her with a reassuring smile. Yes, it's the boosted gear. It can double your power every 10 seconds, making you exponentially stronger over time. It's one of the most powerful sacred gears out there. Izzy looked down at her gauntlet, which had appeared on her left arm, and nodded slowly. I see. So, it can keep boosting my power as long as I need it to. If you use it wisely, then you can defeat anyone you want, I said, but added the second half silently to myself, including me. We crept closer to the church, using the shadows for cover. As we approached the entrance, I signaled for Izzy to activate her boosted gear. The red gauntlet with a green gem began to glow, and I could feel the power radiating from it. Boost. The gem pulsed with light as Izzy's power surged. That's cool, not going to lie, and it's a world-level item. My collector's mind was whispering insidious suggestions. Snatch that gear for yourself. Imagine the power boost. You could become unstoppable. But, of course, I knew better. Removing the boosted gear from Izzy would kill her. Sure, I had resurrection magic at my disposal, but death had warned me about the true pain of death, something Izzy wouldn't be able to handle. Her soul would shatter. A horrible way to die, that's what death had said, and not something I wanted to subject her to. So, as tempting as it was to claim the boosted gear for myself, I knew I had to resist the urge. After all, I couldn't let my desire for power outweigh the well-being of my allies. Plus, Izzy had proven herself to be a valuable asset, and I couldn't afford to lose her. As these thoughts raced through my mind, I couldn't help but notice Fried observing us from the shadows. His eyes narrowed as he recognized Izzy, but it was his first time seeing me. I could practically see the gears turning in his head as he assessed the situation. Little did he know, he was about to face a force to be reckoned with. I suppressed a smirk as I met Fried's gaze head-on. Let him underestimate me. It would only make our victory that much sweeter. Fried stepped out of the shadows, his eyes glinting with a dangerous mix of insanity and sadistic pleasure. Look who we have here, the trash devil who I nearly killed and her trashy friend. He sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. I took a moment to assess Fried. He was exactly as Rainray had described, a psychopath and a battle maniac, who preferred violence over logic, spoke in a vulgar manner, and was undeniably insane. He killed monsters and devils for his own twisted pleasure and had no qualms about murdering humans. On top of all that, he was a pervert who once threatened to rape Asia for disobeying him. In other words, the epitome of scum. Fried brandished his sword, a crazed grin spreading across his face. This is gonna be fun. I've been itching for a good fight, and you two just made my day. His eyes flicked over to Izzy, and his grin widened. And look at you, back for more. How sweet. I thought I taught you a lesson last time. I turned to Izzy, my tone was calm and collected. Izzy, go find Asia. I'll handle Fried. Izzy nodded, her determination clear. Be careful, she whispered before slipping away into the shadows. Running away, trash devil. Not that I mind. It'll be more fun with just you and me, Fried cackled, his voice dripping with sadistic glee. He brandished his sword, the holy energy cracking along its blade. Tilde. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 90 adverse chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the multiverse, chapter 112, first class ticket to hell avatar. Running away, trash devil. Not that I mind. It'll be more fun with just you and me, Fried cackled, his voice dripping with sadistic glee. He brandished his sword, the holy energy cracking along its blade. I raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. Wow, you really are a piece of work, aren't you, Fried? Do you kiss your mother with that mouth? Fried's grin widened, his eyes gleaming with madness. My mother, hell, if she was alive, I'd probably have killed her for fun. Just like I'll kill you. Charming, I replied dryly. But let's be honest here, Fried. You're not exactly the poster child for sanity. You remind me of a rabid dog, foaming at the mouth, biting anything that moves, and ultimately just a pathetic creature that needs to be put down. I mean, come on, trash devils, really. I've heard better insults from 5-year-olds. Fried's eyes flashed with anger, but I could see the confusion there too. He hadn't expected me to be so nonchalant. Perfect. You think you're funny, huh? He snarled, tightening his grip on his sword. We'll see how funny you are when I cut you to pieces. Promises, I said, rolling my eyes. Why don't you stop yapping and actually do something? Or are you just all talk? Fried let out a roar of rage and charged at us, his sword slicing through the air. His movements were wild, driven by fury rather than skill. As Fried swung his sword at me, I sidestepped easily, my own movements fluid and precise. You know, for a psychopath, you're really predictable, I taunted, landing a swift kick to his side. Fried staggered but quickly regained his footing, his eyes burning with fury. You are caught in that, he screamed, lunging at me again. Yeah, I muttered, dodging his attack and countering with a punch that sent him sprawling. Heard that one before too, but sorry to disappoint you, I caught it death long before. Fried struggled to his feet, a crazed look in his eyes. You're dead meat, he shouted, rushing at me again. This time, I let him come closer before sidestepping and tripping him, sending him crashing to the ground. Seriously, Fried, you need some new material. This whole angry psycho act is getting old. Fried groaned, trying to push himself up. I'll make you pay for that, he growled. Sure, I said, my tone bored. But first, why don't you try actually landing a hit? Feed's face twisted in rage, and he lunged at me once more, his attacks growing more desperate and sloppy. I easily parried his blows, my movements almost effortless in comparison to his frenzied strikes. You know, this is almost sad, I commented, dodging another wild swing. I mean, I get that you're supposed to be the big bad, but come on. You are making this way too easy. Feed screamed in frustration, his eyes blazing with hatred. Shut up, shut you. With a swift movement, I just cut his both arms, sending his sword clattering to the ground. Feed stared at me in shock, his bravado crumbling. Crouching down where he fell, I started to speak, my voice calm but edged with menace. You know, Feed, I have a subordinate called Demiurge. He's quite the scholar and experimenter. Currently, he's trying to figure out why only humans and half-humans have the ability to possess sacred gears. Feed glared up at me, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and fury. What the hell are you talking about? He spat. Well, I continued, ignoring his outburst, Demiurge has even prepared a thesis about it. He speculates that the appearance of sacred gears is linked to the human soul's unique connection to the divine and the infernal. Fascinating stuff, really. Feed's confusion was palpable, and I could see him struggling to understand where this conversation was going. What does that have to do with me? He demanded. Oh, everything, I said, smiling benignly. You see, he's always in need of test subjects. Because I am a kind leader, I told him not to hunt humans and he was quite depressed hearing that because it stunted his progress. And that's where you come in. Feed, with your twisted little mind in history, you just earned yourself a first-class ticket to hell. Feed's eyes widened in fear. You are insane. Insane, perhaps, I'm used, but practical. Just as I told you, I'm a kind leader, so I will tell Demiurge not to kill you. Think of it as my way of giving back to society, by removing a pest and providing valuable research material. Feed's face contorted with anger and desperation, but he was speechless for once. I leaned closer, my voice dropping to a whisper. Oh, and I almost forgot. You enjoy raping women, don't you? Such a charming hobby. I'm sure Demiurge will find a way to channel that energy productively. Feed's eyes widened in horror, his bravado crumbling further. And don't worry, I continued, my tone almost cheerful. I'll make sure Demiurge gives you occasional breaks by sending you to Neuronist's office, where you can partake in some extracurricular activities. Trust me, you'll find the experience quite enlightening. The color drained from Feed's face, and for a moment, he looked like a trapped animal, eyes darting around for an escape. It was almost pitiful, really, watching him try to cling to his bravado. Almost. Without giving him another thought, I sent a mental message to Shaltier, who was in my apartment with Yuri and Albedo. Shaltier, open a gate to current location. I have a package for Demiurge. Tilde. You can join my Patreon for $3. Around 90 ad bonus chapter in my Patreon. I posted some exclusive NFSW on each R18 chapter for you to enjoy. Support me through my Patreon. It would be a big help. Support me. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Next chapter. Overlord, the Multiverse, Chapter 113, Chapter 113, Shadow Knight Avatar Avatar. Klavarna. Klavarna looked at the unconscious Asia in front of her, her expression unreadable. At her side was Mittel, who was also eyeing Asia with a mix of curiosity and disdain. The atmosphere in the room was tense, filled with an uneasy silence. Donosik had left just a moment earlier, muttering something about sensing someone familiar. Klavarna didn't care much for his sudden departures, her focus was on the girl lying before them. What do we do with her? Mittel asked, breaking the silence. Her voice was edged with annoyance, clearly displeased with their current situation. That bastard Feed made a scene in front of the Grimmery heiress. We are probably on their radar right now, Klavarna said, her tone sharp with irritation. She ran a hand through her blue hair, frustration evident in her eyes. Mittel frowned, her arms crossed over her chest. Great, just what we needed. Do you think they'll come here? Klavarna shook her head slowly, her eyes fixed on Asia. It's likely. The Grimmery household is not known for letting things slide, especially not something like this. We need to be prepared. Mittel's frown deepened. Prepared for what? A full-on assault. We are not equipped for that. Klavarna's eyes flashed with determination. We need to be smart about this. Asia is our bargaining chip. If the devils come, we can use her to our advantage. Mittel looked at Asia. She's just a girl, Klavarna. Do you really think she'll be of any use against the Grimmery heiress and her devils? Klavarna's gaze hardened. She's more than just a girl, Mittel. Did you forget? She has a sacred gear, and that's enough to make her valuable. We keep her alive, and we use her if we have to. Mittel sighed, clearly still uneasy about the plan. I just hope you're right. I don't fancy the idea of facing off against devils with just the four of us. Klavarna's expression softened slightly, a rare show of vulnerability. I know, but we don't have much of a choice. We have to play the hand we've been dealt. The door creaked open, and Donosik stepped back into the room, his expression grim. We've got company, he announced, his voice low and tense. Klavarna's eyes narrowed. Who? Donosik glanced at Asia before meeting Klavarna's gaze. I don't know, there are just two of them, one is a girl and the other a guy. The girl is a devil, but the boy looks like a human, and they're facing Feed. Klavarna frowned, her mind racing. Just two, are you sure? Donosik nodded. Yes, they don't seem like typical exorcists or devils. The girl has an unusual aura. Just then, they sensed the barrier surrounding the church disappearing, which only means one thing, Feed has been defeated. Followed by the disappearance of the barrier, the three of them felt another presence. It was anything they felt till now, and even though they haven't seen who it was from the aura alone, they can tell it was not something they can hope to defeat. Klavarna's eyes widened in alarm. This power. Mittel's face drained of color. What is that? Who is out there? Donosik clenched his fists, his expression grim. We need to get out of here. Now. Klavarna hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Mittel, grab Asia. We need to retreat. As Mittel rushed to comply, Klavarna and Donosik stepped outside to assess the situation. Where's Asia? Emerging from the shadows was a figure with a red gauntlet on his left arm. It was none other than Izzy. Klavarna's eyes narrowed. Are you the one who defeated Feed? Perhaps not, you were too weak. Izzy didn't bother to respond to the obvious. Instead, she glanced around, taking in the scene. If you're here for Asia, you were too late. We are taking her with us, Klavarna said. Izzy's eyes hardened. Then that leaves me no choice. You'll have to walk through me. Klavarna smirked, her wings unfurling as she prepared for a fight. You're out of your league, little devil. But if you insist. Before she could finish her sentence, the air around them crackled with energy. Izzy's red gown began to glow, and a surge of power radiated from her. Boost. Klavarna's smirk faltered for a moment as she sensed the intensity of Izzy's determination. Donosik stepped forward, his wings flaring out menacingly. You are making a big mistake, devil. Izzy stood her ground, her eyes never leaving